So in the next section we have surface area and volume. And I went through ahead of time and I put in all of my equations for surface area and volume just to save us a little bit of time here. So for the first one in 84, we want to find a cylinder with a radius of 6 inches and a height of 10 inches. So that cylinder, we want to find both the volume and the surface area. Nice part is our formulas for surface area and for volume require that we know the radius and the height, which is exactly what we were given. So all we have to do is go ahead and plug some numbers in. So if we take a look at the volume first, I'm going to get pi times 6 squared times 10. So 6 squared is 36 times 10 is 360. So our volume is 360 pi, and it's inches cubed. For the surface area, a little bit more to plug in here. So it's 2 times pi times 6 times 10 plus 2 times pi times 6 squared. So in the first section, 6 times 10 is 60, times 2 is 120 pi. Six squared is 36 times 2 is 72. And then we can add them together since they're both in terms of pi, so 120 plus 72 gives us 192 pi inches squared. For 85, we're looking at a sphere, with a radius of 4 feet. So all we have to do is plug in 4 everywhere we see R. So you have 4/3 pi times 4 cubed. Now here we're going to end up with a decimal, so we're going to go straight through and we're going to include pi in our answer, and we're going to have a decimal answer for this one. So 4 cubed is 64, and when we take 64 times 4, we get 256, and dividing it by 3 gives us 85.3 repeated. So I'm just going to take that and multiply it by pi, so we get 268.1. .1 feet cubed. For surface area, it's 4 times pi times 4 squared, and 4 squared is 16, times 4 is 64, so we can actually leave this one in terms of pi, because we can just write 64 pi feet squared. For number 86, we have a square pyramid with a base edge of 6 inches and a height of 4 inches. The capital B in these formulas is the area of the base shape. Now, the base of our pyramid, it says, is a square pyramid, which means it's a square. So our sides are 6 in both of those. So for our volume, the base area is just 6 times 6. So it's 1/3 times 36 times a height of 4. Well, 1/3 of 36 is just 12, because 36 divided by 3 is 12, and 12 times 4 is 48. So our volume is 48 inches cubed. The surface area, we have a different variable in here. We have this L, which is a slant height. Right? So let's see what we can plug in here first. So we have 1/2. The perimeter is just adding all your sides together for your base shape. So we have 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6, or 6 times 4, which is 24. We have the slant height, and then we have the base area again, which we already did the work for that before. It's just 36. Now the slant height requires a little bit more work. If we think about the triangle that we can form in our pyramid, the height is 4. And if one side is 6, then from the center to the edge is only half of that, so that's 3. And then we want to look for the slant height. So we're going to take 3 squared plus 4 squared equals L squared. There's my squared. So we get 9 plus 16 equals L squared. So 25 equals L squared. And when you take the square root of 25, you get 5 for L. And then plugging all of this information in, 24 times 5 is 120. Half of that is 60. So we get 60 plus 36. So our surface area is 96 inches squared. In 87, we have a cone with a radius of 5 millimeters and a slant height of 13 millimeters. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to take a look at the surface area first, because we have all the information there that we need. We have pi, we have a radius of 5, we have a radius of a slant height of 13, plus pi times 5 squared so 13 times 5 is 65 pi. 5 squared is 25 pi. And then we can add 65 and 25. And we get 90 pi millimeters squared. Now, in 86, we have to find the slant height. In 87 here, we're actually trying to find the height. We're told the radius is 5, so that's this piece here. The slant height's 13. So we want to find the height. So we have h squared plus 5 squared equals 13 squared. So h squared plus 25 equals 169. When we subtract 25, h squared equals 144. And then the square root of 144 is just 12. So the height for our cone is going to be 12 millimeters, and that's going to go in for our volume formula. So for our volume, it's 1/3 times pi times 5 squared times 12. So 5 squared is 25, and 25 times 12 is 300, and 1/3 of 300 is 100. So our volume is going to be 100 pi millimeters squared. Or not squared, cubed. For 88, we have a rectangular prism with a length of 10 feet, a width of 11 feet, and a height of 20 feet. So for our base area, we can just take length times width. Well, 10 times 11 is 110. So we're going to plug in here, volume equals 110 times 20. So therefore, our volume is 2,200 feet cubed. And then our surface area, since we did 10 times 11 for our base area, we're going to add 10 plus 11 plus 10 plus 11. All right, so really 21 and 21 gives us 42 times a height of 20 plus 2 times the 110 we found for the base area. So we get 840 plus 220 so we get 1,060 feet squared.